Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, I've got a buddy of mine that used to work with me in a golf course that I used to run back in the day. His name's Bruce McCamish of Bruce McCamish Photography. And he also shoots at the games down on the sidelines, and he's going to explain some of that. And he was at the Alabama game, which was great to hear that whole story. He was actually underneath the goalpost. He's going to tell you all about it. Super fun to hear about it. And let's get this thing rolling with Bruce. All right, folks, this is Bruce. He's a buddy of mine and a buddy of my family's. And he worked for us long ago. He was an addition at River Islands Golf Club, and he came in extremely overqualified and did a great job for us and was there for years and years. Now he's a professional photographer in Knoxville, and I think he's found his calling. He does a great job at photography and all kinds of things along those lines. And I'm going to let him kind of explain what he does now. With UT, of course, he takes a lot of photography of the sports teams, et cetera. So why don't you explain that a little bit for us there, Bruce?
Sure, John. Well, I don't actually shoot for the University of Tennessee. All of their photographers are students, or they're just after college. So I shoot for City View Magazine, publication here in Knoxville, and I shoot for the city of Knoxville, Visit Knoxville as well. So I'm able to shoot those events. Like this weekend, I'm shooting the Corn Ferry at Holston for Visit Knoxville. And then last season, I shot some of the baseball games in that amazing season we had. And then this coming season, I'll be on the field shooting the football games for City View Magazine.
That's cool. That'll be real cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've already got a ton of photography and things along those lines, which is good. Now, you also do real estate photography, don't you?
I do. That's how I pay the bills. I shoot probably around 600 houses a year and been doing this for 12, 13 years full time. And it's really rewarding. You see a lot of really interesting things, a lot of things you can't unsee, a lot of things you can't unsmell, but it's pretty good way to earn a living. I mean, I have some great relationships and see Knoxville in a very different light.
What's the name of your company?
Just Bruce McCamish Photography. Very creative.
Okay, there you go. That's like Don Fields Photography. Exact same thing.
No ego.
I don't know how I wound up with so many friends that are photographers, but it comes in handy from time to time. Bruce, of course, follows the Vols very closely, and there's so much going on with them right now with recruiting. Of course, you've got the new schedule that's going to be trying to decide. You got the NCAA infractions hearing, all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to bring Bruce on here to just kind of react to a lot of this stuff, talk about it a little bit. What do you think about Josh Heupel, his first 2 years? I mean, what can be said?
You know, I was born and raised here. My sister's 14 years older than me, and she was a freshman at UT when I was born. And so when she was a senior, I got to go to a few games. And I remember my first game, I think it was against Georgia Tech, and my ticket was $4.50. And it's one of those things that once you do it and you get involved in it at that level, it sticks in you forever. So we've been through all this great regimes of success and failures. In the last 12 years, we've been vacant. We just haven't been here. So to see Josh come in here, a kid from South Dakota that went through junior college and came up the way he did, had this team believe in his system, believe in the direction he was taking this team, and watch almost immediate success just is unfathomable. Because what other coach can you name that's had that kind of success coming from disaster that he walked into?
Yeah, we lost 30 players in the transfer portal because of the Jeremy Pruitt disaster, which is really what it was. And we gave up scholarships, reported everything.
Got the evidence. Put the evidence in the car. Put the evidence in the car.
And of course, we're still waiting to see what the penalties will be. We won't know for a few more weeks. I think it's usually 6 to 8 weeks from the end of the hearing, and that was a few weeks ago.
Right.
So we've got a ways to go on that. But yeah, I was shocked. 2021, I was not happy with the hire of Josh Heupel. I was like, this is totally underwhelming. They brought in the guy that Danny White brought in the guy that was at the school he was at. I mean, how original is that?
Right.
I thought it was lazy. Well, little did I know that he knew exactly what he was doing. And it turns out this Danny White guy is sharp as a tack.
I was not exactly right.
I mean, and what they announced yesterday with the entertainment venue coming in, the hotel attached to the stadium, and the top deck of G10 being decked out in retail and tailgating, and it's going to be. I mean, we'll never have seen anything like it in our lifetime. It's going to change the way that campus, how we view the sporting events from baseball. Even though the stadium's not too far away, it will even benefit those guys. Women's basketball, men's football. I mean, I'm pumped because I shoot for a construction company that's been doing the renovations for Neyland Stadium. And I knew all this was coming down the pike, but I had to sign an NDA, so I couldn't ever say anything. So when it came out, a few months ago that the hotel was going to be a part of it, it was like really cool to watch everybody's reaction on the excitement level. Because I think A&M Alabama, I think they have hotels that are attached to their stadiums. I may be speaking out of place there, but there's more excitement in this city than I've seen in 20 years.
Yeah, I think really the entire town is so pumped, and it's the offense. That offense is so exciting. I remember the first time that I started watching them in 2021, I was like, I was going to give the guy a chance.
Right.
It wasn't going to be a big chance, but I was going to give him a chance. Next thing I know, we're up 4 touchdowns on South Carolina or Missouri or both. I can't remember. We did it to both of them. And I was like, this is unbelievable. And, the first Pittsburgh game, I saw that Joe Milton had overthrown some guys, and I was like, gosh, we ought to be up by 3 touchdowns right now. And then we had Hendon come in and just light it up, and I was like, oh, my gosh. And even though our defense was horrible in 2021, we should have won 10 or 11 games, but we just didn't have the horses on defense. Then 2022 shows up, and it was just kaboom. 8-0, beat Alabama, beat Florida, beat Pittsburgh, and I'm going crazy. So, I mean, I could not be more pleased with the direction of the football team.
And imagine from the perspective I had, because I was shooting the COVID year at Neyland Stadium.
Oh, my God. When we won 3 games?
There was 8 people there, that wasn't on the field. And to go from that to the next year, when he comes in and all of a sudden what did we put up the first year? In the 30s, maybe his offense was in the 30s?
It was 39 points.
39.
We were number 7 nationally.
In 46, 47 the next year. And the defense started to show up a little bit. We had our moments where we were really good on defense.
Yeah.
Then last year, you just knew we're 3 players, maybe 4 players away on defense. We need a little bit more depth on the back end. And this could be something special. And here we sit at the precipice of the Milton era, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's as far as Joe will take us this year, or Nico, depending. But I couldn't feel better about the future, because not only do we have Joe there and Nico, the number 1 player in the country, we just got a commitment from Jake Merklinger, who is a very high 4-star in Georgia. We've got George McIntyre in the state of Tennessee, who is the number 2 quarterback in the country, who is very high on the Vols. And it looks like he's probably going to wind up with the Vols, if I had to guess. And so the quarterback position is so critical anyway. But the way this offense spreads you out, I mean, it's really amazing. So I'm couldn't be more excited about the football future.
Oh, it's and always look at every aspect of the university. The baseball, listen, we can't replicate what happened last year. That was a once in a lifetime season. Yeah. But even now they've won 12 out of 15. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's good. We're on a good streak. We got a big series coming up in South Carolina. Women's softball, number 4 in the country. They're killing it. It's just Dondi and Randy and White. Think about our leadership. It starts at the top and it's trickled all the way down to the daggone water boy. And everybody's excited to pull their oar the same direction. And it's not been that way, as you know, in 12, 15 years, like we talked about before.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that you've got to have the right people at the top. And I think the Danny White hire wound up being outstanding. Yes. I mean, it just couldn't have worked better. And the funny part is his strength is basketball hiring. That's what he's really known for, because, he's so involved with basketball because his 2 brothers are basketball coaches. So I think one of them is Mike White. and I can't remember the other fellow's name. So he's heavy into basketball. So when Rick Barnes, who has done a fine job, when he retires in a few years, we're going to be fine with our basketball coach. I have no concerns there at all. Absolutely. I was just so pleased that they went ahead and got Josh Heupel signed up long term, so we don't have to worry about that, and just let this horse ride. I mean, just let's let it just do what it's going to do. And I think we're going to have, if nothing else, it's going to be the most entertaining football you could possibly imagine to watch.
John, what year were you a senior at UT?
It was 89.
And what was the situation back then? Run me.
It was Johnny Majors was the coach, and I remember, and when I was over there at Gibbs Hall, the guys would come up, and of course they were twice my size, and Johnny was rough on them at practice. I mean, it was old school, and they'd all be leaning up against the wall in the elevator, just hoping they could make it to their room. And I'd come in after playing golf with my little golf visor and my little shirt and all this stuff. And, I hadn't, it's not hard playing golf when you're 19 years old. And they'd all just look at me, leaned against the wall, half alive, and go, man, I should have played golf. Johnny's killing us. Coach Majors is killing us.
You just had his face mask ripped off and you hit one in the sand trap and thought it was a bad day.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, those guys, I'm telling you, they deserve the NIL money. The football team certainly does, because they're out there getting they're just getting hit so hard and having to just, that practice has got to just be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, NIL, boy, that's a whole nother slippery slope, but good and bad, it's what we call progress. It's their name and likeness. Look at the video games they just came out with. You're going to opt in on the video games. They'll put your name and jersey on the back and pay you residual from that. Or if you opt out, they'll put and your number on the back of a jersey without a name or somebody else's name on it. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Gosh, what was your stipends as an athlete? Did you have like a meal card or something?
No, we got something like that. I just remember at Gibbs Hall, the food was so good. Yeah. I always ate there and I loved it. I mean, I was so happy with the food situation. Living at Gibbs was awesome. It was great. And when we went on a golf trip or a golf tournament, of course, food and all that stuff was taken care of. It seems like we got like 10 or 15 bucks or something if we had to buy the meal ourselves or whatever. It was perfectly fair. Mm-hmm. I don't remember it being a big deal one way or the other, but
Could you work at the bookstore?
What's that?
Did you work at the bookstore if you had
No, I didn't have to do anything like that. No. And I was not on a full ride, in the on the golf team, there was like 5 full scholarships total. And they spread that out amongst like 10 guys. And then we had walk-ons and stuff like that.
So similar to baseball.
What's that? Yeah. I mean, like I was on a partial scholarship.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. It's changed a little bit, hasn't it, Chappie? since
What's that?
It's changed a little bit in what?
Well, here's the thing. If I was playing today, I would still not be getting any NIL money. I can just tell you, I was a very average Division I golfer. I wasn't anything special, and I've never pretended that I was.
Hey, your brother had some opportunities,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Walt was a better player than I was. I just think they wound up making me captain just because I was the least difficult to deal with, probably.
Yeah. That's
so. And I think Walt was made captain because he was the best player.
Yeah,
I had to guess. Although, gosh, there was so many good players that came through there; it was unreal. But no, it's pretty exciting. So you're going to be actually taking pictures during the game. Will you be down on the sidelines?
I've been the last 3 years. Last year was the first full season. Usually local press, they'll just give us a few games because their requirement, especially there's only so much room on the sideline. Mm-hmm. And look at it from the stands and you look down, you think, oh my gosh, there's people everywhere. Well, they do limit the media. And so all the national stations, national sports, they get first pick. USA, AP, USA Today, AP, all those guys have a certain amount of photographers. And then UT has usually 5 or 6, and they have video and all that. So it gets kind of crowded down there, especially on recruiting weekends. I mean, you see it. It is just stuffed down there at points. So the last year we had 7 games, and so I was down there for the Alabama game
Oh my gosh. Tell me about the Alabama game.
It took me 3 months to recover from it afterwards. I literally slipped an L4 after that game, could hardly walk back to my car. I'm down on the field with all those students.
Oh no.
58 years old, jumping up, going crazy, all this camera gear, catching all these shots, having cigar smoke blown in my face, taking pictures. It was just phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. Florida was at 93 or whatever, we beat them 98, whenever that was. But it really will be a day when I'm 98 years old and I don't know who you are. I'll remember that halftime and after the game. And I have a picture of To'o coming off the field, and the fans storming the field. He barely got out of there. And I can smell it right now. I can feel it, watching the kids slide out of the stands, half of them falling, not realizing it's a good 7-foot drop from the wall. The girls coming over the wall and skinning their legs because that concrete, but they didn't care. They were on the field. It was amazing. And then to shoot Heupel, I had the camera right in his face there. I was actually standing under the goal, and the ball went over my right shoulder.
No, you were not.
I'll send you the picture.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was, the wounded duck is a nice. It
went like this.
Oh, it was every which way but end over end. Be there. There was a second gas pause where the entire stadium was, did it go over?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, because I didn't think it was going to make it.
Yeah, and the picture I have is the umpire looking straight up the upright with his hands still down and the ball. And they always look at each other first, and then they give the signal. Yeah. And it was just pandemonium reigns.
15 years of stress.
Yes.
Was relieved of that. I never dreamed they could beat Alabama this year. I was just hoping we'd beat Florida and Pittsburgh and, beat the teams we needed to beat and win like 9 games. That was what I was hoping for. And we wound up winning 11. And I never dreamed we'd beat Alabama. That just shocked me.
I know. Well, so let's get ready to do that with Georgia this year.
Absolutely. That's the team. They need to go down.
Dude.
That team, the entire country will be on our side in that game because everybody wants them to go down.
They will. They will. The game I really fear more than any of them, because I hope the pummel is South Carolina. I hope we smash them into little pieces.
Yeah.
Because that game down there, a different team showed up when we went down there, and it changed the whole dynamic of our season. But I want that win so much more than any. Georgia, obviously, but South Carolina, Rattler, I hope he's just a flash in the pan.
I think we'll be fine with South Carolina. I think that was a lot of dynamics that were out of our control there that were unfortunate, but I think we'll be ready for them. Georgia would be the big one. But it's exciting to be relevant again and for teams to be scared of us. And they're so scared of us, they won't even talk about the offense, except they'll just say gimmick. And I'm like, 7 years of gimmick, because I've put together the charts and I've run the numbers. This guy has been successful everywhere he's been, including when he was at Missouri as offensive coordinator. And I kept wondering, why is Missouri winning the East?
Yeah.
They can't win and they won it like 2 years in a row while he was there.
Yeah.
So it was him. I just never put 2 and 2 together and realized, oh my gosh, he was the secret sauce.
But John, what do all the great teams have? They have great coaching, but they also have great schemes. That's what makes a great coach, is they know how to pit that up against what they're getting ready to play. And so you can say scheme all you want to, and it may be true. I mean, Hyatt's going to show us whether it was, we'll see what happens with him in the next 24 months. But I don't care. A W's a W. And last year was just the beginning of this excitement that I can't wait to see.
Yeah, I couldn't be more pleased that I got really lucky with this channel and that I started it this year. You know, I wish I'd have started it the year before, which was the beginning of it, but to be able to start it during this first banner year. And I think it's going to, this year, like I said, we might have a little pullback because we don't have, you know, Hendon Hooker. You know, Joe might surprise us and play great. But the next year in 2024 with the 12-team playoff, I feel fantastic about that season. That could be a national championship run right there. I think we'll at least be in the running for it come the end of the year.
I can't remember the last time that I've seen reported, and maybe it's because social media is so fluid now, how many 4 and 5 stars we have on campus all the time. It seems to be, of course, winning's infectious, and especially wide receiver. Who wouldn't want to be a part of this offense? Because in the bottom line, very few of them make it to the NFL, but the ones we're sending are getting paid big money. And bottom line, they want to be here because they know Heupel has the best chance of putting them there.
Well, and the thing is, there's probably been 15 5-stars this year that are seriously considering the Vols. And we've got several that are leaning our way, you know, especially the defensive line edge rushers. That seems to be where we're mainly focused. And of course, you know, quarterback, I don't see us ever having a problem getting a great quarterback. That should never be an issue. The defense is where he's focused because I think he knows I can score points. We will figure out a way to score points. That won't be a problem. We've got to stop people.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do that. He's talking confidently for the first time about the defense because he's got depth for the first time. What's that?
Seen the video of Okoye? I think that's how you say his name.
Oh yeah, the guy they just got. He's going to be there this year. He's ridiculous. He jumps 48 inches in the air.
At NFL Combine, 11-foot flat jump lateral.
Yeah.
And 48. I mean, come on. They said that was like combine leaders for this year in the NFL.
Oh yeah, that guy could be special.
Yeah.
He's only played 3 football games in his life though, so they're going to have to develop him. But I'm very confident they'll develop him. They want him as a tight end, but he could be an edge too. We just have so many high end edge rushers right now already on the team. Granted, they're freshmen or sophomores, but we're getting there. It's going to be something else. It's like I said, everybody's so excited about it. And then, like you said, we've got this big entertainment venue coming. I'm planning on going to the games this year, and I'm going to have some fun with that. All right, folks, thought it'd just be fun for you to hear some of those stories, and somebody that's heavily involved with the Vols ever since, gosh, he was a little kid. And, of course, being there at the Alabama game and actually seeing that ball go across that goalpost is awesome. But anyway, I thought it'd be something you might like to hear about. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know to continue, cover the Vols and all that good stuff. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just boomps, all you got to do. Takes 2 seconds. That's it. And right over here's my most recent video. The algorithm just is confident you will love it because we're all being controlled by AI now. Anyway, I hope you did like the content. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.